Welcome to episode 3 of
Paranormal Noise
where the paranormal is discussed
by the abnormal.
I'm LC.
And I'm Kenzie.
So, we're back from a very long hiatus. How's your 2020 been?
Well, seeing as how I currently have the Rona, it's going exactly how I imagined it.
Yes, since I recently got over the Rona, which turned out to be just a head cold for me, thankfully.
Near death for me.
Yeah. Had mentioned, hey, should we make those t-shirts that say I survived Corona?
Just a heads up that this podcast is not going to have anything really relevant about it. It's just pretty much just us talking. Me barely talking because I barely have a voice.
Yep, just shooting the shit and passing the time. And
while in quarantine.
Yeah, just trying to get back in the game of podcasts right now.
I had a thought the other day that I wanted to revisit the Hellier documentary.
Yes, I enjoyed that.
I think we should rewatch that.
We should, because there was a lot to it, and I really appreciate all the work that they put into that.
Well, I recently came across a theory that I read on Reddit about how when they brought in the whole... Well, for those of you who haven't watched Hellier, I would highly suggest it. I'm not even going to try to get into explaining it right now. I'm not going to try to get into explaining it right now because there's just way too much. Just go watch it. It's on YouTube and it's on Prime. Watch it. So anyway, there was a theory that I came across on Reddit about that when they brought up the pan thing that... I wish I could remember it verbatim, but essentially saying that Ireland is actually the lost people of Atlantis. And it had all connected together in a way that made perfect sense. I don't know, I'd have to find the thing again and read it.
Yeah, I think that'd be an interesting topic for a future podcast, definitely.
It'd be quite a lot to cover.
Well, we like doing that sort of thing.
You do take it episode by episode.
Yes, I agree. Be nice. What was your first paranormal experience? You don't have to go into detail right now, but just did you see a ghost? Was it ghost related or was it other related?
My first time was very normal for me. For me, they were spirits poking out from behind trees, watching me as a little girl.
Do you remember how old you were?
Like 2-3 years old.
You remember that?
Yes, vividly.
Do you remember, did you see their faces?
Yes. I even saw the stances of their body as they poked out from behind looking. And I remember saying to my parents, I said, they're doing it again. They're looking at me.
Did any of them ever, approach you, or did they always stay behind objects?
They always stayed behind objects, hiding.
I wonder what their intent was.
I remember that I was a child when I used to sleep on the floor in my parents' bedroom because I was one of those, pussy kids that couldn't sleep in their own bed sometimes. That I would be lying awake at night in the pitch dark, bored, not be able to sleep. And I was probably again 2 or 3 years old, and saying to the spirits around me, I said, can you put on some TV or something for me? And then they would, whether it was them or my imagination, I'm pretty sure it was them, they would project images onto the black wall or into the closet for me, but there would only ever be soap operas on.
That's hilarious.
I mean, what 2 or 3-year-old knows about soap operas?
Exactly, especially ingrained in their brain enough to picture a soap opera.
Yeah, and it wasn't anything oh, you're going to grandma's and grandma's gonna be watching her stories. No, we didn't do that, and my parents were very much against any kind of that
stories.
Yeah, against the stories.
That is great. From mine, I gotta say I don't recall any kind of direct ghost thing. My earliest, paranormal experience, I remember being, I don't know if I was 4 or 5. And I was outside at my cousin's house. I don't know if this was the first time, but this is the one that's clearly in my head. Outside playing, and I would just hear this voice that would say my name, and it It's kind of weird because it sounded like it was like booming from the sky above. And I think it was a male voice. But I can't be certain.
Spoiler alert, ladies and gentlemen, she is a Leo, so all their stories are always going to be about her.
Well, it's my story.
Anyway.
Your story was about you.
Well, they weren't like booming out my name.
Right. Anyway, and I would sometimes I would turn to somebody and say, "Did you hear my name?" And they'd be like, "No." No, I have no clue what I was talking about.
Well, granted, that family is not really all that observant of their surroundings unless there's food involved.
No, but they're also not that kind of spiritual level either. But as kids, I don't know, whatever. So whatever this thing was, and like as you get older, like other people have said they've had the same experiences, especially being empathic. So I don't know if it's like spirit guides or loved ones that have passed on, and I didn't really know them because, I mean, I was 4 or 5 years old at the time, so.
And they had a supernatural megaphone.
A supernatural megaphone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
I didn't say this was going to be intelligent talk.
Do you think they could change their voice with the megaphone?
They probably have like one of those like, like scream things where they say into the phone like, "Do you want to play a game?" or something.
Could be.
Sydney.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Oh.
You're thinking of Saw. The little dude on the tricycle.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's play a game or whatever the hell he says.
I'm not really very well versed in my horror and slasher films.
No, you're not. You should revisit Scream since they're making another one too.
I've seen those so many times.
Okay.
Obviously, since you want to play a game, Sydney.
Alright, smart ass. So yeah. Those are our earliest experiences. Do you remember, like, what was your first one where anything ever, like, interacted with you? Do you know?
I mean, there's been so many that it's hard to remember which one would be the first, I guess.
Okay, so what was the lamest one?
The lamest one?
Yeah.
Oh, God, there's been quite a few of those. That was an actual encounter. That was lame.
Yeah, like somebody just pop in, wave at you, then pop back out or something.
I mean, the soap opera was being projected onto the closet wall was pretty fucking lame.
Kind of, but it was cool in a way too, because it was highly unlikely that you were imagining that yourself.
Yeah. I mean, the Ouija board's pretty lame. Like, we've had some pretty lame experiences with that.
Yes.
Which I just say, like, okay, if you're afraid of that, to each their own. That's fine. I personally just find it dumb. Like, yeah, it moves, but it moves on energy. If there's a spirit there, we've never encountered one.
No. My experience with the Ouija boards have been pretty tame. Obviously, when you're a kid, you do stupid stuff. I don't know if you want to call it stupid.
You have a fear of it as a child, so you're projecting fear into something, and then you're manifesting fear.
Kind of, but you're kind of doing it out of curiosity too. So my first experience with any of that, naturally, let's talk about all the stupid horror stories. What are those called?
Urban legends. Myths.
Yes, urban legends. So I don't know if you had these, but we definitely did. And it was always somebody. There was somebody that knew somebody who had an Ouija board, and they used it, and their house burned down. We had one of those. Did you have one of those?
No, we had the typical woman saying that she burned her Ouija board and it screamed.
Oh. Yeah, it was weird. And some people were like, I don't want any of those in my house. That's evil. Okay, yeah, it's like made by what, Milton Bradley or something? Okay, yeah, sure, it's evil. Anyway, so my first experience with a quote-unquote Ouija board, I was over at a sleepover. with other kids my age. I don't know if I was like 11-ish, 12 maybe. So we started telling, ghostly stories and whatnot, and including Bloody Mary. So, yeah, we went and did that.
Ours was the Candyman.
Oh, yeah. So we took a piece of paper and we drew out on a Ouija board the best we could.
I bet you had to draw it because you were the artist one, didn't you?
I honestly don't remember if I wrote out the letters or not. And then we went and we found, I think it was a little glass that we could use to put our fingers on. It was...
Was the glass clean?
It was clean. It just... The glass was so heavy. It was a little difficult trying to have it move across the sheet of paper that was sitting on top of carpet.
Oh my god.
So it was kind of unsuccessful.
Too bad you didn't have like a clear ashtray or something.
Oh my god. Maybe in the 80s, but that was sometime in the 90s.
And nothing happened?
No. Nothing happened. So, what was your most scary encounter with the paranormal?
My god, for a random podcast like this, you sure came with questions prepared. I thought we were just winging it, but
I am just winging it.
Yeah.
But I've heard some of your stories before, and they're really interesting.
What was the question? I don't remember now.
Your scariest paranormal experience.
Probably the suicide spirit that me and my ex-friend encountered.
Do you want to tell us the story?
No.
What do you mean no? You can't just leave it at that.
Well, I mean, it raises, I should say, I'll tell you the story in the next podcast, so that way I know that you guys are going to come back. But...
No, because I want to know, because I don't know if this is the one I'm thinking of.
Okay, so there was this big Baptist church back in the Midwest where I grew up. And there's a huge church. Very, 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 very well known for its occult practices. Not occult, or cult practices. Sorry. Cult practices, not occult. So, behind the church was this, giant drop-off hill into a forest type valley area. And it was very, very thick forest. And it was, hundreds of acres of nothing but thick woods. Well, there was, I think it's in the, what are they call, archives or something, of the town or the village or whatever.
Yeah, I think you actually found something online, and you read whatever little story.
Well, it's actually in the historical archives, the history of this town, that there used to be witch practicing stuff back. Well, witches that would practice back there. But, that's all. Those are stories that are recorded by men that were probably fearful and Puritans? That were Puritans.
And they were afraid of women having power. So that's for another podcast.
So God knows, how they interpreted that. But anyway, that's how the story goes. So they said that, well, back there's a little trail, little nature preserve and a trail that you can walk down, and it goes around a little tiny creek and whatnot. It was actually very, very pretty. And they said that people that go down there alone will actually start feeling very depressed, very melancholy, and there actually have been confirmed numerous suicides down there. Well, they say that whatever spirit that those witches had conjured is what makes the people that go down there commit suicide. So me and my ex-friend Kyle, we went one night and checked it out. Well, it was at twilight, so it wasn't pitch black. Mm-hmm. And it was near the fall time, and so we park and we take a little walk until we get down to the stream. And it was very calm, not a leaf was rustling. It was so calm. It was actually quite calming there. It didn't feel bad to me. But then my friend Kyle started acting very erratic, just very unlike himself, and like was trying to tug my hand to go further and further into the pathway down the river.
So he was being influenced, it sounds like.
Yes. And I didn't want to, because I felt everything shift. And then once he started doing that, the wind picked up, and it was just like knock you over strong. It was so strong, and it just wouldn't stop howling. And I kept like yelling at Kyle. I was like, come on, let's go. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. And then he finally just like snapped out of it. Like he got slapped in the face, and then he just like grabbed hold of my hand, and we ran going up the path, going back towards his car. And I remember turning around. Something told me to turn around and look behind me. And when I did, I saw this black mass just rising up out of the riverbed. And I turned around and I just bolted with him.
Did it look like a Dementor? I'm sorry, that's all I could picture.
More like a ring wraith, if we're going to be that descriptive.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was a ring wraith. It came out of the fucking creek bed. If you don't know what a ring wraith is, watch Lord of the Rings.
Did you ever see it again after that?
Never went back. We'd never go back there ever again.
Did anything ever follow you from there?
No.
That's good. Did you and Kyle ever talk about what happened?
No. We would never go back there, though. I wouldn't even go down the road that would go past that preserve again. Never.
I think it's very interesting that there's something there with so much negativity, and there's a church right there.
Well, yeah, because that church is nothing but an abyss of bullshit.
Gotcha. Yes, that was the story I was thinking of that you had told me before. I would really be interested in going to this place.
Well, then let's go take a trip to the fucking Midwest. There's actually more haunting stuff there than there is, I find, in northern New York. There's ghost stories all over the place.
Yeah, we don't have like too much in this area, but
you remember that road I told you about? There's 13 bridges going
Yes.
going south. When you come back north, there's only 12 bridges.
Yeah, we gotta figure out how that works. So, I don't know.
Everybody swears by it, and I've done it too. You go north, there's 13 bridges. You come back south, you count 12 bridges.
What do they call that?
Where'd the fuck London Bridge go? I don't know.
A glitch. It's a glitch in our reality.
Ugh. The Matrix. No, you can't use a Matrix reference because you haven't watched the Matrix.
I wasn't using a Matrix reference.
Usually you say there's a glitch in the Matrix.
Well, that's not what I say. I just say there's a glitch. Okay. Thinking like our reality is actually like a video game and there's a glitch in it.
Anyway.
She's just upset because I didn't really enjoy the Matrix. Don't hate on me.
I don't think she has the mental capacity to appreciate
I
don't think she has the mental capacity to appreciate the complexity of the Matrix.
Just wasn't my thing.
But it's so cool. Did you understand that he was in a pod? Like he was never a real human being until they woke him up.
Okay.
You understood that, right?
I watched it like once, and I don't even know if I paid real good attention to it.
Will you try?
Just like the first one.
Will you try to watch it with me?
I don't know, maybe.
I think we should do a podcast about that.
No.
Yeah, then we alternate realities here. Come on,
gosh.
Glitches.
Kind of.
I'm all about this.
Yes,
we are doing this.
Anyway. So yeah, have you had any other scary-ish experiences with the paranormal?
I mean, we've done a lot of stuff that's been creepy. We've done table tipping. Not the good kind of table tipping.
I don't know if I'd call that creepy. It was interesting.
I mean, look, remember how cold the room got?
Yep.
I don't know. I don't get really freaked out anymore.
Yeah.
People scare me more than
Absolutely.
ghosts.
It's funny that because some people say ghosts scare them more than people. That's what says. Ghosts scare him more than people because he can't punch a ghost.
You mean Tracy?
Tracy.
Tracy can't punch a ghost?
Tracy can't punch a ghost.
God.
I wonder how his ghosts are doing.
That's
in his
what we
house.
need to do, is we need to go ghost hunting with Tracy.
Agreed.
That way, because if there are people there, like, we'll protect him from the ghosts.
Right.
And he'll protect us from the people.
This is true.
So, I mean, hand in hand.
It's valid.
Let's do it up with Tracy.
Well, I'm sure he's going to enjoy that.
He'll be alright. He'll be alright.
God.
We should do, like, a scary Christmas night or something.
Scary Christmas night.
Something scary for Christmas. Like, let's... I don't know.
Like, what kind, like, elaborate?
I don't know. Let's see if we can try to summon something on Christmas.
Summon something.
Summon fucking Krampus. Let's do it.
Krampus. That's great. Have you ever seen full body apparitions aside from the tree peepers?
Yes.
Well,
the other night when I came home from work,
oh yeah,
there was the fog figure that decided to walk out in front of my car,
the shadowy figure that's
which was not a person.
been poking around the house lately.
Yeah, he also walked in front of the shower door, the fucking pervert.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's creepy.
I think he's an old man. Of course, he didn't pause to look, so maybe I'm a little offended.
I hope that's more of a he's a ghost situation than a something from another dimension situation.
Aren't they all from a different dimension, though? A ghost?
Well,
Like,
I
what?
don't know, like the spiritual plane.
Like, what do you think a ghost is? What is it? What is it? Like,
It's a spirit. However, there's kind of different definitions for the different terms. Like some people might think a ghost is a certain kind of thing, and like a spirit is a certain kind of ghost, and that kind of, you know what I'm trying to say?
no.
Like, okay, so you got ghost and spirit, and you got poltergeist.
Air quotes, poltergeist.
Typically, people will say poltergeist is a ghost that does really negative shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then some people think like a ghost is just like a spirit that's, I don't know, haunting, or maybe it's just a residual haunting. It's just, it doesn't know it's dead and it's still living its life, so to speak, or think
It's
it is.
on, like, a repeated track. Like, rewind.
Right.
A rewinding track.
A loop.
A loop. That's
It's on
what
a
it's
loop.
called. Yep.
Yes. And then, like, spirit is just what? Like your soul, other souls that have good intentions, maybe. So you got spirit guides.
Because spirits can connect with you, whereas ghosts, I mean, like...
Like, I think the word spirit is used more in a positive sense, the most positive. And then you got ghost, and then you got poltergeist.
I don't really believe in poltergeist, but that's just my personal opinion.
I don't know about the term poltergeist itself. I haven't had those kinds of experiences. I have had experiences with very mischievous ghosts. But nothing that has ever tried to do me any harm.
Yeah, for as many years as we've been doing stuff and we've been communicating with the other world, we've never had any significant negative encounters ever. Like, the most we've had is feeling watched.
Yeah.
But, like, I've had a ghost cover me up and shut the window and blinds for me because it got cold one night. I mean, that's pretty considerate if you ask me.
Yes, yeah.
Other than that, we've never had anything negative, and we've gotten to some pretty sensitive material.
I don't know if I'd say it like that. It's not like we're sitting around summoning things and summoning.
Yeah, we are. Depends.
Listen, it's not like we're summoning quote unquote demons or anything like that. We both have spiritual practices that we partake in, and what is the word? It's not really summon. Do we incantations?
We invite
For the gods that we believe in.
Yeah.
All right. Or we reach out to the spiritual world to communicate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I still want to do the Ouija board in the graveyard.
Yeah, but that's fine. I don't see anything wrong with it. I'm not spooked out by it. I think by doing any kind of spiritual explorations or quote unquote ghost hunting, as some people do, if you do it at night, there's a lot to not just what comes through, but I think a lot of it has to do with your imagination,
Placebo effect.
and yeah, and just like, you don't see as clearly as night, especially if you're outside, you're in an area don't know very well, you start hearing noises, start seeing things.
Yeah, your imagination takes over and natural fear kicks in.
Yeah, that's basically it. It does make it a little more exciting, really, I think. But
Yeah, it ups the adrenaline.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm all for taking a Ouija board to the graveyard at nighttime and using it up. The only thing that's going to scare me are people.
Yes, exactly.
That's the only thing stopping me is that I'm afraid of people. But, we'll go pick up Tracy. Be all right. Like, hey, Tracy, guess what we're going to do tonight?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sure. He'd be really excited about that.
He's like, we're going to do what? He'll probably strap up and be like,
oh, boy.
Let's go, boys. Cover himself in tinfoil.
Possession. Do you believe in possession?
I believe that... Take, for example, people with Alzheimer's. I believe that certain portions of your brain or your soul become open. And I believe... I don't know if it would be other souls could come in and kind of speak through you. Or if it's just your other personalities of your other lifetimes, your other reincarnations that are coming through and talking.
Yeah, I can see that. Plus, it's almost like it opens up another part of your brain that you don't normally use, so anything could come through, really.
Yeah.
Plus, those diseases make people beacons for spirits, too.
What makes them a beacon, though? How does that make them a beacon?
More spirits are drawn to them because of that.
How do they know that, though?
I think I've read that, or I've seen it somewhere. I can't remember where. It's like an attraction, kind of like how negative entities of sorts are attracted to people with depression.
Yeah, but are they just manifesting negativity?
I mean, yeah, it could be both.
But I mean, like, is there like some kind of like Morse code that goes out and like, hey, we got a person over here with this certain, brain disease.
No, I think it's all about energy, and we all put off energy.
Yeah. But as for like your typical demon possession, I have a hard time believing it because I don't believe in demons.
Yeah, we kind of touched upon that in that Amityville cast there when we were talking about when he was claiming he was possessed. Yeah, I've never been one to believe in demons. There are people I know that have had instances. I don't know if it was with a demon, but because I can't remember the story off the top of my head, but it was a negative entity and somebody I know well. So I can't sit here and say this person didn't experience this because I don't believe in demons.
I know, obviously, the Catholics believe quite strongly about possession and stuff. You don't, to my knowledge, you don't really hear about possession much in any other denomination surrounding Christianity, especially not in the Baptists, because that's what I'm most familiar with. They didn't believe in it. I know the Amish have their own type of possession as well, like their own beliefs in it. I've heard that even the Jews as well, they also have their own form of possession.
Yeah, they have the Dybbuk boxes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
They have the Dybbuk boxes. But to my knowledge, that's all that I know about for that acknowledged possession in Christianity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's always something, like, from what I've seen, it's always something you hear about. And it's always, like, a Catholic going through it. That would just be something really interesting to dig deep into.
So why is it just the Catholics that
Exactly.
can have that?
Exactly. Especially since Catholicism falls under Christianity. Because that's the umbrella for it all. As they all believe in heaven and hell. Angels and demons. So there it is. Do you believe in demons? Or, I mean, not demons. Do you believe in angels?
No.
And why is that?
Because what those beings are is something much more greater than angels.
Explain.
Like, do I believe in winged figures? Yes, I do. But I don't believe them to be the angels of God or, any kind of Christian angel. I view them as being something much greater than that. Something like a how do I even put this into words? Like a spirit on steroids, or like the highest being, one of the higher beings that you can be.
Okay.
There's a word for them that I can't think. They talk about this language, Enochian. The
Right.
Enochians were viewed as winged creatures. There's another creature that is known as a like a winged angelic figure. I can't think of the name of it right now. But yeah, I don't believe in the god angels.
Well, no, obviously not. And then one could argue, if you did, that, oh, you believe in an angel, but you don't believe in a demon. But won't get into that. You know what I'm saying? Because you kind of, the way everything is put in life to us.
Well, I'm just saying
like,
that I believe in a winged creature. I'm
right.
not saying that winged creature is either good nor bad. I'm just saying I believe in it.
Right. Well, I'm saying that the way things are put to us in our lives, how can you believe in this positivity but not believe in the negativity? You know what I mean? Because everything has an opposite.
A black and a white.
Right. So that's kind of like what it is. But yeah, I'm very open to the idea. Kind of on the same page with you. It's not really the angels that are like what we see and hear about, but I believe there's something.
I think the word that I'm looking for is draconian. Like, I know there's the saying draconian law, and I'm probably completely effing this up, but I think that's one of the words I'm looking for. I'll have to do more research on it.
I'm not sure.
I can't think of it at the moment. But yeah, the whole having the positive with the negative balance, yeah, why not? I mean, not everything's going to be solely good and everything's going to be solely bad. There always has to be a black, a white, and a gray.
Yep, the gray area.
So yeah. Can spirits be negative? Yes, of course. Can they be good? Yeah. What propels them to be negative?
I don't know.
Don't
I don't know. I don't know if it's like they're hanging on to stuff, unfinished business. No clue. I have no idea. Shadow people. Do you believe in shadow people?
What's your definition of a shadow person?
Well, I'm only going off a few things that I've read. And from what I've read, shadow people are obviously beings. So picture like a figure in a silhouette form, all black. Can't really see anything.
So how does that make them different than a spirit?
Because they, from what I've read, they always have malintentions. And they're from another dimension.
Oh, so we're getting into different dimensions now.
Yes.
We're getting into a deeper wormhole.
That's a big wormhole. So yeah. Now I've seen things out of the corner of my eyes. I don't know. And obviously it was black. I've also seen white figures, but that's a different thing. Just like passing, thought I saw movement in the other room. Whether or not it was a shadow person or a spirit, I don't know. Nothing bad's happened, so.
Let's talk about something that is legitimately for real.
What?
Fucking fairies.
Fairies.
Fucking fairies. I tell you what. If there's one thing I believe without a shadow of a doubt, it is fucking fairies. Those sons of bitches will hide things right in front of me. Will take them. I won't even notice them. And then I'll hide them for days. And then I'll come back and they'll be right there in front of my face. They are mischievous little bastards.
I've always thought fairies were, mythical creatures. Just, basically something made up like unicorns. I don't know. So
We're not getting into the unicorn conversation.
So growing up, I obviously had that happen growing up. I just assumed I misplaced things. So it wasn't until you come along and you tell me all these crazy things and I see stuff for myself, and then similar things start happening to me. Not too often though. To me, mainly go after you. And let's talk about how my sister is now going through the fairies at her old house.
Oh yeah. I left some fairies there.
Thankfully, those fairies did not follow us. But they are now messing with my sister and moving some stuff around so she can't find it. And then she's looking for it. And days later, it appears in a spot where she just looked. And mind you, she's the only one that has access to this part of the house.
Fucking fairies.
So then I get a text saying, hey, is this house haunted? I just laughed. I was like, well, there could be some fairies there. There might be a ghost or two. They're just visiting.
The fairies aren't. They're there to stay.
Yeah, no, they're there forever. I don't know
you ain't getting rid of those.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, that house was built by little Irish people. What do you expect?
True. Very true. Let's talk about our fairy circles in this yard we have.
Oh, yeah, we have fairy circles all over the yard.
It's great. It's very interesting. There are always these little white flowers.
Perfect little circle.
They are. There's like 3 or 4 of them, I think.
Hey, so the little fairies can get back to Tirnanog. Please tell me you know what that is. You call yourself an Irish person and you don't know the legend of Tirnanog.
Oh, apparently I'm mostly Scottish, remember?
You're still Irish, and
I know there's some Irish in there, but
you need
mostly Scottish.
You need to be more researched on your myths and legends.
What's that from?
Tirnanog. It's the land of the fairies in Ireland.
I don't know. We talk about fairies in circles, and all I can think of is True Blood.
No, that is a horrible representation of fairies.
Yes, I know.
No.
I know.
Just get that out of your mind.
I'm trying.
What about the Tuatha De Danann?
It's a little familiar with that, because I got some of those books upstairs that talk about it.
Okay.
So I'm not completely blind.
What about our Darby O'Gill?
Why is that familiar?
Darby O'Gill was the man that captured a leprechaun.
Oh my God, I think my father told me that. Yo, okay, so here's the story. I couldn't have been probably 4 years old. I remember. I could have been 3, but definitely 4 because I think we moved out of this house when I was 5. So, my dad, I know he believed in leprechauns. 100%. Yeah, he did. So, he had this cup, and I wish I had it. I don't know whatever happened to it. He had this cup. It was kind of like a Yahtzee cup, but, like, that was the size of it, but all the outside was leather, like a brown leather. And inside it, he always kept these 2 red dice. Or die.
Dice. I call them dice.
Jesus. 2 red dice. So he'd be messing with me, and he had this, I can't say that he made it up because I don't know. I was a kid. Something to do with the cup and the dice, and he would always like try to catch a leprechaun with it. I can't remember exactly what it was, but that's what, yeah. That was it. It was really interesting. I wish I still had that cup and those dice. I don't know whatever happened to him.
Well, you're going to have to read the story of Darby O'Gill.
Yeah, but that's where I know I've heard that name, and that's probably was from him. It's about the leprechauns.
It's a very popular. There's even a Disney movie made about it. But yeah, it's about a little man named Darby that catches a leprechaun and takes him back to the pub, and no one believes him. And because every time he tries to show his pub friends this little leprechaun in his bag, the leprechaun purposely disappears so that only Darby can see him. It's quite good. You have to read it.
So what about brownies? If you believe in fairies, you've got to believe in brownies, right?
Well, I mean, how you getting it? Obviously, because fairies are females and brownies are guys. How's it going to reproduce?
No, I thought the brownies were the mischievous ones and the fairies were the nicer ones.
No.
I thought that's how that went.
Because then you're gonna get deeper into the whole like sprites and pixies. Then.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brownies, you're thinking of Willow.
Ah.
That's what you think. But yeah, there's myths and legends about brownies as well. I'm not very versed on those as well but I mean any kind of like little fucking fairy type creature is gonna be mischievous.
Anything that is fae. Speaking of fae, Lost Girl. Have we missed that show?
Oh my God.
You know you miss it.
Yeah, I mean. They built it up and had such a strong, like, second to last season, then they just kind of, like, dropped the ball after that.
No, that happens. That's what it is.
I was really hoping for her and, and Dice and Vacuum Cleaner to get together.
To go back? Yeah, we couldn't stand the doctor lady. I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah, doctor lady was not very cool.
She kind of annoyed me, but...
Yeah, well, it is what it is. Slender Man. I know the idea of him creeps you out.
It does.
But do you believe in him?
Why not? Every myth and legend has to be based off some kind of truth.
Yeah, this is actually, from what it's a little jumbled in my head, but from what I can remember off the top of my head, these 2 girls made him up. I can't remember if they were over in Britain. They made him up to kill this other girlfriend of theirs.
That's fucking rough.
Yeah, I can't remember if they made him up or if they like heard the tale of him and then used that as an excuse. Oh, Slender Man told us to kill our friend.
I bet you it was 2 duffs trying to kill the pretty friend.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. Peanut gallery over here.
I don't remember, but that's what it is.
She's getting all the cute boys.
One of them was a little psycho, and the other one just kind of went along with it.
Well, I mean, then apparently one was a duff, and then the one was pretty, and the other girl was pretty. So the one pretty gained up with the duff and saying, "Hey, let's kill this other pretty girl."
Oh God, battling for the crown.
Yep.
Oh God, girls, can't you just be nice to each other?
That's probably what happened. Poor little duff girl. God, I relate with her.
Jesus. Oh God, what else is out there for supernatural kind of creatures?
Not the Candyman.
Not the Candyman. Who, by the way, is an asshole. Thank you.
Yeah, we had an encounter with him in real life. We travel around quite a lot and meet quite a few. I don't say meet. We encounter.
We
We
encountered
encounter
him.
many celebrities.
And as I was walking my way, and there's plenty of room, mind you, this room was like 20 feet wide, and the asshole almost ran me over and didn't even apologize. Yeah, I said it. The
I would have.
Candyman almost ran me down and didn't even say, "Excuse me, I'm sorry."
And you had your arms full.
I did, asshole.
I would have said something. I would have been like, "Excuse you."
Well, not worth my time.
But no, that's
'Cause,
me.
you
No,
know, had I been a fan of his, I probably would have been real pissed off, but
I mean,
I-
it's okay. He
whatever.
wasn't the star that time. It was that other guy there that you liked.
Yes, Sid Haig was there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
R.I.P.
Yes. So what is it? Banshees? You believe in banshees? It's possible. You think?
Sure.
Okay.
It's just another form of a
Like
spirit.
it could be. So what about the idea that if a collective group of people believe in something, that something manifests?
Well, yeah.
You believe in that?
Yeah, because that's a vortex of energy.
Because they're all putting their thought and energy into something.
Yeah, so
it
why
exists.
can't soul energy, spirit energy, because that's what we are spirits, why can't soul energy come together and birth a new soul? Make sense?
Yes.
Why can't they make a little...
So if you're listening to this, if demons do exist, Catholics and Christians, it's all your fault. Because you believe in demons.
Yeah, you cook that shit up in your pot of fuckery.
As they put the fear of life into you. If you don't believe this, you're going to hell. And you're like, oh shit. Yeah, no.
Where you fall forever in a pit of fire.
Mm.
And did you know that? That's what they tell you.
That's what they told you?
They tell you after the rapture happens that all the souls that don't get raptured, that when they do die after the 7 years of hell on earth, that you get thrown into a pit of a fire that never has a bottom. So you're falling for all of eternity in a pit of fire, and they show you videos of your life of when you were happiest, so that you're tortured.
That doesn't sound half bad compared to, like, some other things I've seen and heard of.
Yeah, but when you're told that when you're like 6 or 7 years old, that
Right.
scares the hell out of you.
Right, and that's what they do. Brainwashing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, have you ever... It's like... I studied art, obviously. So we would look at these old paintings, and some of them would paint, angels and stuff. I can't remember the painting itself, but they painted, like, pictures of hell. And my God, there were some really fucked up scenes in that.
Yeah.
Majorly fucked up. I would take falling into an endless pit of fire over all that shit in that painting any day.
What painting was this? I kind of want to see it.
I can't remember. I'm sure I'll find it if I Google for it. But I can't remember off the top of my head.
Paintings of hell. Which, ironically, a lot of those paintings of hell are painted by pagans.
Are they? Were they?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll get into that some other time.
Pagans that don't believe in hell.
No, I mean, like, you have pagans that are depicting scenes from the Bible.
Ah.
That's what I'm more so getting at. That'd be like a
Gotcha.
Christian painting a pagan scene.
Kind of. Unless they were, like, taking the imagery from, like, Dante's Inferno and painting that. Oh my God. So, I wanted to bring this up because this was something I had read, God, like, probably back when COVID was first, like, coming around in March. And I can't remember what led me there. It's kind of like the idea of shadow people, but not. So, there was these stories that people were telling online in this article that they would see their mother, like, I don't know, walk across the room upstairs, but she would be downstairs in the kitchen for real. So they would see these apparitions of their family members, but their family members would be in a completely different part of the house, or they wouldn't be home at all. Like, what do you think that is? Is that like our leftover energy of us doing something that gets caught in time?
But then why are other people seeing it? Why are other people seeing our energy?
I don't know.
Unless it's a ghost that is a
shape-shifting ghost.
A changeling. But technically, can't spirits and ghosts change into anything they want to? Or only what we perceive them to be?
I'm not sure. Because, I mean, the big black mass thing that you saw, it would have been interesting to see if it changed into any kind of figure that you could actually make out.
Yes.
But yeah, so the power of belief. Touch back on that. So up here, we've obviously had a little bit of like urban ghost tales and whatnot. So there was this tale of the Crooks Corner?
Cook's Corner.
I think it was Crooks.
No,
it's
Cook's.
Cooks?
It's Cook's Corner.
Cook's Corner house. It was abandoned. There's some kind of tale about it. What was it? The father killed the kid and the mother?
I know nothing about
and
this
then
tale.
Killed himself? I can't remember. Somebody else told me it. And like different people would see the spirit of the father, or would look like a spirit or entity of the father, or the other family members, like through the windows and whatnot. They would get different kind of supernatural experiences if they snuck into that house. I'm sure people did a Ouija board and God knows what else in there. So as far as I know, there was nothing that was actually like written down historically that any of this happened. Like nothing in a newspaper, nothing about like who owned it. No solid story. So I'm kind of wondering if somebody told this story and it just turned into this big belief thing, and that's what made it seem real, and that's why people started seeing this stuff.
Well, the thing is about stories that get passed around up here, that when you hear a story from somebody, you can guarantee that story's been passed around probably 50 times before it's actually gotten to you. So, I mean, take that with a giant chunk of salt when you hear a story like that, unless it's from the person who actually went there and experienced it themselves, or actually knew the people, or were part of the people that tragedy happened to. So
absolutely, I agree. Unfortunately, we can't investigate that because some dumb little kid burned the house down. Yeah.
So probably what happened is that somebody, or what people were doing when they were going there, were hearing all of these stories, because I'm pretty sure there were like 50 of them. People were going there with all of these, notions already in their heads. Oh, this is going to happen. That's going to happen. We're going to see this person. This is supposed to happen. And they're going to freak out. So they're already psyching themselves up and being afraid. Like, oh my God, we're going here. And then, like I said, placebo effect comes into play.
Yes, it's very true. Many years ago, I went to somebody's house and she was like, oh yeah, my house is haunted and this and that. So like when I got there and I started feeling stuff, I was actually wondering, well, is it my mind knowing and expecting, or is it actually happening to me based on what the ghost is doing? You know what I mean? So that definitely happens. So we had a former acquaintance. We didn't know them too well. Went over to their house, just chilling. We didn't know anything about the house's history. She did mention some strange stuff had happened. She actually had some paranormal investigators go over and they recorded a night's worth, blah, blah, blah. I don't think they found too much. But I remember when she gave us a tour of the house. And we went upstairs. And we both felt stuff outside that bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we felt like something wanted to, like, push us over, like, the banister down the stairs. I
Yeah.
remember feeling that, too.
Yep.
So then when we ran into some new people at that time through a different friend, and we're talking to them about this, just paranormal stuff and ghosts and whatnot. And when we told them we went there, and they're like, oh yeah, we know that house. And then they started smiling, and then they told us that somebody had committed suicide in that bathtub.
And I had told you while we were there at that house for the first time, I went into that bathroom and I said, somebody killed themselves in here.
Yes, you did.
I knew somebody had killed themselves in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know anything about the house.
No, we didn't. Nope. And so when we went back and told this acquaintance at the time, she didn't believe us because it was never disclosed. And it was like the suicide was actually a big cover-up by the family.
Usually they try not to disclose suicides when it happens.
Yeah, I don't know what the legalities are of disclosing that type of death in a house when you sell it. I don't know with this state. No clue. But in New York, you're supposed to disclose if you're selling a haunted house. I still say we should buy a haunted house and turn it into like a frickin' B&B or something.
Let's do it. Let's do it up.
Tracy's totally interested in that too.
Tracy is?
Yeah, he'd invest in it. Oh yeah, he likes money.
Well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I might have to do some stuff to like amp up the haunting of it in there and see what we can conjure up.
Absolutely.
We could have a nightly conjuring session too with the guests. Like join us for a seance.
Make it a free for all.
Mm-hmm. Who would you like to talk to tonight? Who shall we try to summon up?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Invite them to stay around. Yeah, let's do that. Why don't you just buy a property and just put a brand new house on it and then just make it just fucking haunt the shit up. Buy a bunch of air quotes haunted stuff off of eBay.
Oh yes, haunted objects. That was another thing I was going to touch upon. I don't think I own any. I don't think. I've obviously have some things that have been passed down through a couple generations, but I don't really consider any of them haunted. I know when we go to those places like that sell antique stuff and
Antique shops.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. My brain fart. When we go to antique shops and like secondhand places, sometimes I'll feel things there.
I'd be more apt to actually buy things from there if they weren't so fucking expensive. Like the thing up here in this area, like there's no such thing as thrift shopping because everybody up here that owns a shop thinks that what they have in their shop is worth a fortune. So they proceed to try to sell it for a fortune. So don't ever try to go thrifting in northern New York because they're a bunch of greedy assholes up here.
It's true. The items are usually a little pricey.
Mm-hmm.
I find that when I get into those places, there's just so many objects. I don't like it. I don't like to be in it. Like it's kind of like claustrophobia on a spiritual level.
I love it. I'm just like soaking it all in. Bathtub of fucking souls. Let's orgy this out.
Oh my god, a spiritual orgy. So would you haunt people when you died?
Fuck yeah. I'd haunt people when I'm alive. Once I figure it out.
Once you figure it out.
God, I'm gonna haunt people. Oh, hell yeah. We were always told, because we were raised very German. So they had a lot of weird little things that we were told as children, like weird little things that they believed in. Rather than, this is German, I have no idea, but it was something we were always told by my grandmother on my father's side, which there's nothing but Germans over on that side. She always told us that if your spouse dies before you, to never move out of the house that the spouse dies in. So we'd obviously be like, okay, why? She's like, because if you do, that spouse is going to perpetually haunt you every night, nonstop, until you pass away. Because you're supposed to stay in the same home as where your spouse had passed away.
It's kind of messed up, but depressing at the same time.
Well, I remember her husband, my grandfather actually passed away right next to her in bed in his sleep.
Yeah.
And she never left. No, she did leave that house, actually, after. She did.
Did she say she was haunted?
She was quite crazy, like, after that happened.
Well.
But I was also really young when she
Yeah.
passed away. I think I was, like, 10 or 11 when she passed away, so I don't remember a whole lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's some of the stuff they would tell us as kids. Also, to be thankful that we were born with blonde hair and blue eyes. That's what I was told. I don't agree with that.
That's what you were told.
That's what we were told as children. It was a different time. It was the 80s. But I do not agree with that.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. I swear, parents back then, you know, our parents from that generation compared to our parents now,
Yeah.
the things that they told us, my God.
Yeah.
The things they let us watch on television.
Right?
Oh my God.
I was watching Freddy Krueger when I was like 5.
I remember like catching my parents watching pornography and like getting to stand there for a little bit and watching it before they told me to go to bed. Yeah, and I was raised in a very strict Christian household. It's just a bunch of hypocrites. But, oh yeah, we were allowed to watch pretty much anything. Critters. I remember I had a great fear for Freddy Krueger. Great fear. Like, he scared the fucking shit out of me as a kid.
And let's face it, he was a fucking pedophile.
Well, I never watched a lot of the movies, so I can't really comment on that. You made me watch one, and that was enough.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, thanks for hanging in there for our crazy, strange, chaotic conversation we've had.
You should do more of these. Ones that are less planned and structured. I can flow with this a lot better and dedicate some time to it more.
Well, yeah. But coming up with just some topics. Because obviously, like a lot of these things we want to delve into, so we got to do our research, period.
Yeah, I definitely want to get into Hellier more. I really want to bring that one up. I think that'd be a good one to really get deep into.
Yeah, I agree. That one was cool. All right. That's all.
All right, guys. I'm out. Have a good holidays.
Until next time.
Keep it spooky. For more of our content, you can visit us online at Paranormal Noise on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and at Paranormal Noise Podcast on Instagram and TikTok.
All topics discussed in our Paranormal Noise podcast are for entertainment purposes only. All views and opinions expressed in this podcast are ours and do not represent the opinions of any entity whatsoever with which we have been, are now, or will be affiliated. Any content provided by our guests is of their opinion and is not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything.